How's it going, sexy sex people? My name is Alex, and today I am going to be talking about why you should talk about sex before you've ever even had sex with a certain person. And I know what you're thinking. Isn't that awkward? Isn't that weird to talk about sex before you've done it? How do you even do that? Isn't that crazy? Well, the answer to that is no. Sexual quality is determined by a ton of factors that happen before you've had sex, during the sexual experience, and even after you've had sex. So there are things that are happening before you've had sex that are going to determine the quality of your future sex if it ever happens. What we can do is kind of set ourselves up for success before we've ever had sex and before we've ever had to kind of prove ourselves and be good at sex. So the reason for this is because things like insecurity and a lack of trust and a lack of comfort, these things are going to be weighing on our partner's minds the first time you have sex. Unless they've kind of been addressed and cleared up, or you've created such a connection, such a bond and rapport that it's off your partner's minds and they can kind of be free to express themselves during the sexual experience. For most people, this isn't the case. There's going to be insecurity. There's going to be kind of this lack of trust in the beginning because you're still getting to know each other for the most part and you're still learning about each other, and you're afraid that if you do something in sex, your partner might not like it, and so we kind of tone back our sexuality and kind of repress our sexuality when we're having sex with someone that we've either just met or just started dating and don't know that well, especially in a sexual context. And what this sexual repression does is it kind of doesn't allow us to be able to be fully immersed in the experience and fully psychologically stimulated. And sexual quality is mostly determined by our mental state, our psychological stimulation. Sexual quality isn't about our physical performance and what feels good and all that kind of stuff and how long we last. Of course, these things are important and they're critical to sex, but what makes sex good is the psychological components. So if your partner is fully immersed, if they are present in the experience, if they're engaged in the experience, if they're connected to it, they're aroused, they're turned on, they're excited, they're able to just lose their inhibitions and be passionate in the moment. That is what determines sexual quality. So if you're having sex with someone that you don't feel comfortable expressing yourself and kind of losing yourself and being extremely vulnerable and open and being as sexual as you want to be and saying what you want and doing what you want and moaning how you want, that is going to dampen any sexual pleasure that you have. And so the more we can kind of chip away at this and establish a rapport, a connection, an environment of non-judgment and an environment of open-mindedness and trust and forgiveness, really, the more we can establish that, the better potential our sex is going to have. Which is why talking about sex before you've ever had sex is so important and can really drive a sexual experience to be so much better. The other thing beyond just building rapport and connection and having your partner feel more comfortable so that they're able to lose themselves and express themselves sexually, if you talk about sex, you can kind of get at what they like and dislike during sex, what they desire, what kind of modes they like during sex, whether they like kind of more dominant or submissive sex or rough sex, or they're looking for an emotional connection, a really bonding, loving sex. You can kind of figure these things out if you talk to your partner before you've had sex, and then you can provide these experiences for your partner, and you're already there. Instead of guessing what your partner likes and just kind of doing a vanilla thing that just kind of a go-to that's kind of bland, but you're not doing anything crazy so as to maybe offend your partner because you don't know what they like or dislike. You can actually go into the experience and direct the experience in a way that your partner has expressed that they like, that that they like. So you're already setting yourself up for success, and you can kind of provide whatever experience that your partner truly wants and desires which obviously is going to make the sex better for them in every way. So not only are you making them more comfortable and able to express themselves during the sexual experience and kind of be open to psychological stimulation and pleasure and just losing themselves to the passion of the experience, but you're also able to direct the experience into what they have told you they want out of it or what they like, and you can do things that they like. I mean, yeah, talking about sex before you've had it, just it kind of does the groundwork for you to make the sexual experience that much better. Not to mention, it makes you yourself feel more comfortable, which means you are going to be able to perform better. If you have performance anxieties or if you're insecure about something in your own body, if you're talking about sex and getting comfortable with the idea of having sex with this person, then that is going to alleviate some stress on you too. So you're able to perform better physically and mentally as well. So things like performance anxieties will drop away, insecurities will drop away at least a little bit. And the little bit that they drop away will improve the sex by that much. So it's worth it to kind of have these conversations. Now I know it might feel awkward to talk about sex if you haven't had sex with someone, but you just need to have the courage to discuss these things. And if you're dating someone and getting to know them, get to know them on that level as well. There's no reason why you should get to know everything else about someone and then just kind of ignore the sex part, because the sex part is going to be a huge part of your relationship. Whether it is now or it's not, it would be in the future if you continue dating this person. So if you talk about it, you can already find out if you're compatible and you can work with your partner. The most important thing when you're talking about this is don't push your partner into talking too much about it, especially in the beginning. If you just kind of broach the topic, shortly ask them what they like, what they're looking for in sexual partners, what their opinions are on sex, so you can find out what kind of their moral standpoint is and all this kind of stuff. These things, even though you're not directly talking about the sexual experience and what they like during it, if you're kind of bringing up sex before you've had sex, it does what I said in the beginning of the video, where it makes your partner more comfortable with the idea of having sex with you. So it's going to make them more comfortable. They're going to be more relaxed when they have sex with you and more able to express themselves and be mentally and psychologically stimulated. And that is going to determine the quality of their sex, and it's going to improve the quality of their sex. So have the courage to talk about this stuff and do it in a way that is non-judgmental and open, and saying that nothing you say or do during sex will be judged by me. I'm open to anything and I want to experience anything and I want you to feel comfortable. If you express this to your partner, what partner wouldn't want to hear that from a potential sexual partner? It's just such this kind of sexy, arousing thing already that it just sets you up for such a successful relationship. Have the courage to discuss sex and talk about sex before you have it. It's so much better than just going into the sexual experience blind because you have no idea what they want. You're insecure, they're insecure. Unless you both are just have no shame and you're just extremely open people, which is pretty rare, but unless that's the case, most likely you're going to feel some anxiety and some trepidation, and you're going to not want to kind of push the boundaries or do anything crazy that you might really want to do or feel like doing in the moment. You're going to hold back because there hasn't been that trust and that comfort level built up yet. Talk about sex with your partner. Even before you've had sex, talk about it. After you've had sex, definitely talk about it, because why not? You should discuss these things. I hope I have made a good enough argument to convince you of that. Anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. It's totally free and it's awesome and it's fun and it helps me out and it helps get these sex tips out to more and more people. I'm doing daily uploads and I don't want you to miss out on amazing sexual advice that you're probably not hearing from anyone else, because not everyone's as good at sex as I am, apparently. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.